At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
Welcome back to Thinking Critical. This is Wes, and we have news, following the cancellation of the Manhunter's origin story from Marco Andreyko. Brian Michael Bendis and Alex Maleev's upcoming Event Leviathan Checkmate 6-issue limited miniseries is also postponed indefinitely, although it sounds like it will be released in time. So today I'm going to read the article from Newsarama.com, and then I'm going to bring on Dylan for the Real Comic Book Gamer, and we're going to kind of talk about what all this means and a few other things. But first, let's read the article from Newsarama.com. DC has indefinitely postponed Brian Michael Bendis and Alex Maleev's upcoming Event Leviathan Checkmate 6-issue limited series, promising in its most recent retailer mailer that it will be rescheduled to align with upcoming DC Universe storylines. Event Leviathan Checkmate spins out of Bendis and Maleev's 2019 series, Event Leviathan, in which the malicious, mysterious espionage group Leviathan, led by the mysterious villain whose secret identity was revealed as Mark Shaw, the one-time Manhunter, took over the world of DC's spy underground. The new Checkmate teams Green Arrow, Talia al Ghul, The Question, and Lois Lane to take on Leviathan in secret. The series was announced in January with a planned April 22 on sale date. However, DC canceled that release date when the direct market comic book industry went on pause due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. Event Leviathan Checkmate was then rescheduled for a June 2 release, though that date came and went without the issue's release, which seemed to go largely unnoticed until DC's update in its postponement. The original announcement of Event Leviathan Checkmate revealed only the limited series creative team and the issue count, tying into the cryptic nature of the original series, which focused on a team of detectives organized by Lois Lane, a key player in the relaunching Checkmate, trying to solve the mystery of the identity of the leader of secret spy organization Leviathan, also conveniently named Leviathan. In that series, Lois showed a gift for espionage by eventually deducing Leviathan's identity as one-time hero Mark Shaw Manhunter with the help of a secret second team of infiltrators. A second planned spinoff titled Manhunter's Secret History was previously canceled outright. So there it is. That is the article itself. The event book appears to be postponed at this time, and here to talk about that is Dylan from the Real Comic Book Gamer. Obviously, the date came and went. The book never came out. Are you surprised by this?
Not too much, considering everything that's been rearranged with metal being pushed to the forefront and 5G taking a back seat. And from what I had heard before, this was a bit more connected with 5G in a way. So that doesn't surprise me too much, especially because the first Leviathan series wasn't exactly a hot seller, and it also wasn't really... Fans didn't care for it too much, so there wasn't really a reason to really push this new one to the forefront. So it doesn't surprise me that much, especially also with the news of eventually Bendis getting off Superman. So it wasn't that big of a surprise, but I was happy to hear about it because I do not care about this book at all.
Yeah, me neither. I read the first one. I reviewed a lot of the issues. I read the most recent Leviathan special. I'm surprised that they're trying to do a Leviathan event book without Batman or Superman in it. Interest in the series was already at an all-time low, but that was with the two of the flagship characters from the DC universe. Taking them out of it, who's going to sell this book? Just Bendis? It's certainly not going to be Talia al Ghul and Lois Lane and Green Arrow. Right? Those don't exactly move issues or the Question.
Yeah, exactly. And especially because when you go into a Bendis book and you see, even I like The Question, Green Lantern, Lois, and all of them, they're good characters, but when they're being written by Bendis, they're not going to be like the characters so you're not even getting those characters you like. You're getting the Bendis versions of them. So even fans of those characters won't go and buy this book. So yeah, I don't know who is supposed to carry it.
It's a little bit of a confusing, take on the book. Although we had heard that Bendis would be doing a Leviathan event after Dark Knight's death metal. Obviously, that's been pushed out a little bit further. I'm a little bit surprised in this because, as far as I've been told, is that ever since Jeff Johns obviously had left as the chief creative officer, Dan Didio was essentially in that role, and since he has been fired, it's kind of been vacated. But from what I'm told, there's two people taking that role now: Scott Snyder and Brian Michael Bendis. So I'm a little bit surprised that they would put Bendis project on the back burner, considering he's so important and vital to the future of DC Comics, as in he's going to be constructing and kind of executing the universe alongside Scott Snyder.
Man, I hate hearing that. I as much as I know a lot of people aren't the biggest fan of Snyder, I would take him 10 times over Bendis when it comes to the creative direction of DC. I feel like at least Snyder likes these characters. He just kind of gets over his head when it comes to some aspects. But yeah, I guess I don't know, with all the reshaking and everything, this doesn't surprise me too much. If you would have asked me about this like right before the Dio got canned, I would have been really surprised about them doing anything to a Bendis book. But after that, lately, with what DC has been doing, what we've been hearing, it doesn't surprise me too much that this actually happened. But yeah, Bendis, there's not enough to say about Bendis.
It's a little bit surprising that those are kind of be the two architects of DC moving forward. Like, I feel bad for people like a Peter J. Tomasi, a Robert Venditti, Dan Jurgens, people who certainly don't fit in with their kind of style of storytelling. Bendis with his extremely deconstructed, pretty boring, heavily dialogue and exposition led storylines. And Scott Snyder, he also does longer storylines, but his are a lot more over the top and kind of huge idea stories where you have Venditti, Tomasi, Jurgens, some of the other really good writers at DC. They're kind of they're more character driven stories, and they're shorter story arcs. They're certainly more in line with the historical takes on the character, drive the stories from things that have happened in their history. So I kind of feel bad for those guys. I don't know if they're going to fit in very well with the creative direction from either of them, to be honest.
I agree, especially for Tomasi, because he's been so solid for so long, and he's been with DC for a long time. Like, he's been around for a while, but I feel like even though he's on a big book like Detective Comics, and he was on Superman prior, he doesn't really get the recognition from the company that he deserves, because the fans love him. He's been so solid, and, he was on Superman, he had a great run on there, he did some great stuff, and then Bendis came in and destroyed everything he did, so it's like he never even was on the book. And now we have him on Detective Comics, and he kind of resisted a lot of stuff that King was doing, was basically like, I'm doing my own thing and that stuff doesn't really affect me at all. And now obviously he's not gonna be able to keep that up for much longer with whatever they're going to be doing with the future of Batman. But I'm hoping that Tomasi can continue to do what he's doing with Detective Comics, because he's been doing a great job. And yeah, I agree that it is kind of weird to just focus on Snyder and Bendis when you have all these other great creative talents, and you're just kind of like, yeah, you guys kind of just got to follow whatever they do and get in line. It's kind of odd.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they manage as far as curating a line. I don't know that I want Bendis being the final word on Venditti and Tomasi and Jurgens stories, or even a lot of writers over at DC. Those are the three that I kind of concentrate on as the ones I really like, or even Snyder. I don't want I think Year the Villain kind of like took the steam out of a lot of DC series because it was incorporating ideas and executing a vision that did not fall in line with what those writers were doing beforehand.
Yep, it did, and it had that stupid banner on all the books, and it was pretty bad for the most part. Yeah, especially I haven't gotten to that part yet. I've only read the first 2 volumes, but I remember you talked about how it took the steam out of Hawkman because he had to do some stupid Batman Who Laughs tie-in. Tomasi actually did a great job with the Mr. Freeze arc during that, though. But yeah, a lot of the books kind of just got what they wanted to do got sidelined. That's happened before, though, also in the New 52. It really felt bad for Nightwing because Kyle Higgins did some great story arcs, and then they had him tie into every single New 52 Batman event that went on, and he didn't get to tell any stories he wanted to. He had maybe 2 story arcs that were actually his own, and the rest was, tie into this big Batman event, and it was very disappointing because he loved the character and was doing great with it.
Yeah, I mean, Venditti's Hawkman, he did the best that he could. He certainly embraced the idea. He embraced it probably more than anyone at DC Comics outside of James Tynion and James Tynion really, but he really brought into what they were doing into Hawkman, and he incorporated in there, and he did a great job. But it was this is not going along with what he was doing with Hawkman. It just really sidetracked and stunted the forward progress of the series. So we shall see how that kind of goes, but. This is big news to me. Bendis is Bendis's next big project, Event Leviathan Checkmate, is off the board for now. Obviously, DC Comics did say that it would come out in time. I imagine this will be, in early 2021, as Dark Knight's death metal is going to stretch out into, all the way through the end of 2020, and perhaps Leviathan and whatever they're doing will tie more into 5G. As I guess we are still kind of expecting them to execute that idea at a smaller level.
Yeah, it looks like we're still getting something with 5G. It is interesting seeing all this pushback and how all this will align with Metal and what the DC universe will look like after Metal, and then leading into Leviathan. And obviously there will be other events that will have that we don't even know about currently. So yeah, DC is definitely an interesting place right now. There's a lot going on. As much as I may not like all of it, at least something's going on. Because with Marvel, there's not a whole lot to talk about other than like X of Swords. Like other than that, there's not like a whole lot to speculate on.
Yeah, we got obviously Empire's kicking up. The first Zero issue came out this week. There will be a review on the channel, I believe, on Sunday. It's supposed to be today, but the schedule's all been jacked up with everything that's been happening. Obviously, we also have a Spider-Man event that's also going to happen before the end of 2020, but we don't even really have details on that, other than it's going to include Venom, Spider-Man, and I believe Black Cat.
I forgot about the fact that Empire was even still a thing.
Yeah, you're not the only one.
Yeah.
I can tell you after reading Avengers Empire issue 0, I don't think many people are going to be really excited because it's a pretty boring book. But you have to wait for the review for the details. And obviously, you'll be on the channel on Sunday as we review Green Lantern 80th anniversary 100-page super spectacular. And I know you're a pretty big fan of most of it, right?
Yeah, I liked most of it. There's a few stories I care for. That ending story, not too good. But for the most part, I enjoyed it. It was a good book.
Yeah, so definitely come back to the channel on Sunday. Definitely catch that review. But there you have it, folks. Bendis' Event Leviathan Checkmate is off the board, probably postponed till early 2021. But we do know Bendis or we do believe Bendis and Scott Snyder are kind of like the co-creative directors, chief creative officers of DC Comics moving forward. So I don't imagine this will be taken off as a priority. It's just being postponed, but I wouldn't mind it being removed because I have no interest in this book because Event Leviathan was terrible and everything associated with it has been terrible.
Yeah, and it didn't mean anything in the end. It was literally just a new villain to have for Action Comics. That's all that story was. It was 7 issues or whatever, how long it was, to just be like, hey, here's a new character I'm going to use in Action Comics. That was it. No purpose.
And 100-page, like $10 comic book.
Where Clark Kent gets captured by Talia al Ghul. That was such a terrible book.
It was, and then they just talked about the events in that book in Event Leviathan for 4 issues.
Yep. Like,
what am I reading here? But yeah, who knows? Maybe Bendis will rediscover the magic and it'll come back. But I just don't see it happening at DC Comics. It felt like a bad fit from the beginning, and it feels like an even worse fit now.
Yeah, he had his time to reclaim his magic, which was his Man of Steel miniseries. That was his time. Like the first few issues, it felt like, man, Bendis is interested in a character again, and then it just went off a cliff, and it's like, never mind, it's still good old Bendis. He's not reclaiming that magic, and I don't think he has it anymore. He just needs to do his own creator own stuff, and leave like licensed characters alone.
I do think you're right. Well, Dylan, I do appreciate the time. I know this was last minute. It's pretty late where you are now, and I hope you have a good day.
You too, man. Thanks for having me on.
If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. I would appreciate it very much. It helps us attract more views for the channel. Subscribe for future commentary, comic book news, and reviews. And don't forget to ring the bell for notifications. If you want to talk comics, movies, and much, much more, you can follow me on Twitter at Wes_from_TC. With that, Salamat Po, and I'm out.